Thank you very much for the opportunity to address the subject of Israel tonight. I want to pay special tribute to the courage of Rabbi Victor Weisberg. I know that tonight's event is the result of hard work as well as a great deal of patience and political will, and I salute him for his leadership. Our discussion tonight is a very timely one. In the Torah portion we read in synagogues like this yesterday, Abraham began his journey to the land of Israel that God promises to him and to his descendants. We ought to put tonight's forum in historical context as well. 70 years ago, America had another progressive president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a man who was elected with huge support from the country and from the Jewish community in particular. Like President Obama, President Roosevelt set out to transform America in a time of economic crisis. Unlike President Obama, President Roosevelt recognized and understood the dangers of tyranny overseas. There was one area in which President Roosevelt failed. He failed to protect the Jews of Europe. And though there were many American Jews who spoke out, most of those who were close to Roosevelt did not. The great Harvard law professor and Supreme Court Justice Felix Frankfurter had the opportunity to act. He was told about the mass murder of Jews by the Nazis, but he refused to believe it, and he refused to tell the president to intervene to stop it. Alan Dershowitz, who was my mentor at law school and who has endorsed my campaign, wrote, quote, "No American Jew today wants his or her epitaph to read, as Felix Frankfurter's must always read in Jewish history, he could have helped, but didn't." Today we have a president with close Jewish advisors and close Jewish allies in Congress, and none of them, except for very few, have dared to speak out or even to criticize him publicly or privately. It amazes me that far-left groups who believe that a true friend of Israel is one that criticizes Israel refuse to criticize their good friend, Barack Obama. It amazes me that we do not demand more of representatives from strong pro-Israel districts, that we have been content to see them meet the lowest common denominator of pro-Israel support. I believe that a pro-Israel Congress is one that stands up to Israel's enemies and holds the president accountable when he tries to appease them. I believe that a pro-Israel Congress is one that stands up to America's enemies and provides the force necessary to defeat them. I believe that a pro-Israel Congress rushes to embrace America's allies around the world, Poland, India, Colombia, South Korea, not the Manuel Zelayas and Helen Thomases and radical Islamic jihadist groups. On Friday, I gave a speech after Jum'ah mosque prayers, as I mentioned earlier. I was invited there by the Imam, who truly is a man of peace, and so is his congregation, a congregation of peace. I greeted the congregation in Arabic, and I told them about my experiences in the Muslim community. I also told them that I love Israel and that I oppose the Ground Zero Mosque. I say the same thing to Muslims that I say to Jews and Christians. We must always support Israel. You don't reach out to the other side by weakening your side. You don't build peace and tolerance by giving up what you hold most dear. It is impossible to be pro-Israel and to fail to defend Israel at this critical moment. Yes, good friends criticize Israel, but true friends do more than just criticize Israel. True friends stand up and defend the truth, regardless of the danger. That is what we expect and deserve from our representative in this district, whoever it may be. I've considered the various arguments on Israel for the better part of 2 decades, throughout my student years and in my professional life. I have worked for civil rights lawyers in Israel, people who stand up for the rights of Bedouin Arabs or Palestinian farmers separated from their land by the security barrier. I have spoken with the families who were pulled out of their homes in Gush Katif by their fellow Jews in the difficult disengagement of 2005. I have met with the highest leaders in Jerusalem, as well as in Ramallah. There is one thing I have learned, that peace comes through strength, strong armies and strong principles. I believe that the door and our hearts must always be open to negotiations, but not at the price of more concessions from Israel which has given up so much over 20 years for so little in return. I want to be a leader for America and for Israel in Congress, a Congress that is likely to be run by Republicans, in which I believe I will have a strong voice. I want to be a leader for this community and its diversity. Tonight I ask for your vote, but I'm asking for more than that. I'm asking for your support, and I'm asking you most of all for your trust. Thank you very much.
Okay.